Hey guys, welcome to the Georgia Afield Hunting Podcast. Our first video episode here. This is a bonus episode. We'll still have our regular interviews coming on Wednesday, but we thought we'd mix it up a little bit and do this bonus one just to talk about kind of our plans and our goals for this coming season, and just kind of keep you guys up with how things are going and what's going to be involved in this coming hunting season, and what you can look forward to, I guess, as far as content and stuff. Hopefully we'll have plenty of content to provide for you in the form of video content and audio and everything else. But with that, we'll just jump into it. Robert, I know you actually were out today doing some last-minute trail camera checks. How did that go for you?
Not very well. It's been probably the worst card pull, that I've had so far. And it is what it is. It's the deer are moving, they're finding, new areas, especially now. There's some of them, not all, are starting to shed velvet. And so they're starting to split up, move to different home areas and, different things. So, but I checked all my cameras today. I started real early this morning, finished about 2:00 this afternoon, and had one picture of one buck that I would consider a shooter. And everything else was a lot of does, a lot of small buck spikes, 3-pointers and stuff. And then I had one camera, it had a decent 8-pointer on it, pretty big wide 6-pointer too, but both of them just weren't big enough, what I'm looking for. Yeah. So there was a lot, like I said, a lot of doe, plenty of deer to shoot if I want to shoot deer, just in general, but, looking for a certain size buck and only had one picture. So it was kind of a rough check, but hey, that's how it goes.
Yeah, it can be tough this time of year. Like you said, they're really, as soon as that velvet comes off, the patterns are going to start to change up, and bucks that have been on camera may suddenly disappear. And at the same time, you never know when some new ones might show up if you're in a good area. But I haven't done any camera checks here recently. I've done one, I guess, since the last time we talked about this on air, but it was on a different WMA than where I've been running most of my cameras, and what I think will be a good area. But I mainly put it there because there's a one lone persimmon tree that's just absolutely loaded, and it's right between two different cover type. There's thick cover on both sides, but two different cover types kind of meet there, a cut over, and then just some thick pines next to that, and it's kind of right on the edge of the two. And there's a good travel lane up and down that edge already. But, I had pretty high hopes for that. And I checked it, had it out for maybe a month, if that, and had some deer, kind of like you were talking about. I had some does on there. I had one little, like, 6-pointer that was showing up pretty regular, but nothing to get excited about. But then again, those persimmons aren't ready to drop yet on that particular tree. They still look to me like they're still at least a couple weeks out.
Oh, dang.
So I think it'll, that one will get better. I think when those persimmons start dropping, and maybe it just might end up being a doe spot, but maybe that's a place I could get in there with the old recurve and try to kill my first one with it. But definitely no great bucks showing up on that one. But
so, it's like I went and I checked one camera. It was right inside the edge of the woods off this big field that was actually planted in some sunflowers. And I think there may have been some millet out there as well. They had planted for dove. And so I figured it might be a good area to catch some deer. There's a big bedding area right above it. And checked the camera, but same thing, a lot of does. And I had actually accessed by the river, used my kayak instead of walking down through the dove field, it's a long ways. It's a big field. Yeah. And I was like, well, I can just slide my kayak in, paddle down a couple 100 yards and walk a couple 100 yards up to it. So that's what I did. And as I was going to check it, there was this burnt down trail right on the ridge, right up above where the camera was. It's a big thicket up on top of a ridge. And so I took that camera, moved it back maybe 100 yards or so, and put it on that trail coming out of that thicket, right on the ridge. So we'll see what pans out there. And then I took the kayak and I went down the river because I found a piece of public on the map that's only accessible by river. Now it is accessible by adjoining land, but it's private land.
Right.
So, they can get on it. But as far as general public, the only way to get to it is by boat. And so I kayaked in there and found a nice little ridge on the map that I wanted to check out. And so I pulled the boat up, and the ridge is just a couple hundred yards, maybe 200 yards up from where I parked the kayak. Walked up the ridge, and then on the backside, it flattens out, and it's kind of weird. It's almost like a pasture, a little thin pasture just growing in the woods. It's got some grass and some oaks, and there was 3 big scrapes right there under a pin oak tree right there in the middle of that grass. So I hung a camera there.
Yeah.
See what shows up there. And I need to scout that a little more, but I was pinched on time trying to get cameras, checked, and it was getting late in the day. So it looks like it's going to be a good area from what I've seen just from the little bit I walked today. So the kayak might be key there.
Yeah, and that's something I was considering doing that tomorrow with the day off, putting in the kayak at, the WMA that me and you both hunt, and there's a spot or several spots I wouldn't mind looking at, but there's one in particular that I looked at, I guess last year while turkey hunting maybe, just happened to pull up on a spot and go up on a ridge and like the way it looked. It was pretty thick. The point that came out into the lake was pretty thick. And then there was a pretty good transition line where it opened up into more open hardwoods, and it was just a perfect place where you could kind of pull the kayak up near that transition line and slip up in there. It'd be, I think, a great place to hang a stand. I dropped a pin back, during turkey season, and I haven't been back in there to really check it out. And I need to get in there and hang a camera and see what's going on. And of course, we talked about really the place that I plan on being opening day or at least opening evening was where I had the real good one on trail camera there.
Right.
On that same WMA. Over a month period, he was probably in there 12 evenings during daylight hours. And now that's been close to a month ago, and I haven't been back in there. So who knows? The camera's still there. I'm going to check it that opening evening, but I just didn't want to get back in there and disturb it any more than I already had. And, just hoping that maybe he's still working that same pattern, because it is kind of tight to bedding. And so hopefully they haven't shifted up at this point. And, hopefully he hadn't moved out of there, gotten bumped by small game hunters or something. You never know, but
right.
I'm sure hoping it'll produce.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's still in the area as thick as it is, even if he got bumped a little bit, which we won't know till next weekend. But
right. Yep.
Even if he did, there's a lot of cover, so he probably didn't go very far.
Yeah, there is. That's a long ridge, and the whole thing is excellent bedding cover. You've seen it. There's beds all throughout there, and it may just be a cat and mouse game there for a little while. Having to shift up and try some different spots within there.
Right.
And but if that don't work out, there's plenty of other places, plenty of other pins that I've dropped between last year and this year that I want to try, probably more than I'll be able to get around to. So.
Right. Yeah. That's what I like too about that area. I hung the camera on the other side of the river is when I noticed which way the wind was blowing today, and it sets up perfect for a west wind. So anything out of the west, northwest is going to be blowing back towards the river. So,
yeah.
And we get a lot of west winds down here, a lot of northwest and west winds. So that I did like that aspect too, because I can come in on a west wind, slip right up there, in that area and be set up, especially when the rut comes and they start really cruising that ridge top, looking for those and trying to smell. And I think it's going to be a real good spot according to the sign I seen. But going back to the buck you're talking about. So let's say hypothetically you go in there Saturday. I know you're not going in there Saturday morning, but you're going in the afternoon. You check the camera and he hasn't been there the last 3 weeks. You still going to get up in the tree, or what you going to do?
Oh man, that's going to be tough. Probably if I get in there and check that camera and he hadn't been in there at all, then probably no. I'm probably going to still hunt that same general area, but I'm going to shift, I guess. I'll probably shift further down from the access. And just, man, I don't know. I might just have to scout my way through there and see if I can find, get on some fresh signs, some fresh droppings, that kind of stuff. And, just set up set up where I find the best sign.
Right.
Because I'd really hate to get down in there and him not be there and just completely pull out and have to go to a whole different spot.
Right.
Because like we were saying, I think it's that area. There's going to be deer in there. They use that area. They seem to use it year round. I hunted it. Evan and I hunted it a little later in the season last year when we really kind of got on that spot. We wasn't hunting exactly where I got this buck on camera, but we were close, and we seen deer get up out of beds on those ridges. And not a big buck or anything, but we seen, there were deer bedding on those fingers in that cover, and we seen them getting up. And of course, ended up, I was hunting. There's a food plot close by, and that's what we were actually hunting, kind of off the edge of it. And a lot of deer, seen a lot of deer using that. Had shots at a few smaller bucks, nothing big. Never did get a good doe in range on that particular plot. I ended up killing on a different plot, but yeah, there were definitely deer using that even later in the season. So I think it'll be solid spot throughout the season, or at least until the leaves fall. Then that always shifts things up too as far as bedding. But
and can you hunt that spot on any wind, or is there a certain predominant wind you need to get in there?
It definitely will lend itself to a. Let's see here. Coming in the evening, I will need a north or let's see. I'll have to look at the map. It's killing me here. And I believe it's anything out of the north or east, basically anything but a west wind. I think a direct west wind is going to play havoc on me. But
I think according to, while we're looking at it, let's look it up real quick.
Yeah, check the weather there. It'll be an east wind or a west wind probably.
Last I had checked, it was supposed to be a northeast wind was supposed to be the wind.
Now that would be perfect. Yeah.
Let's see, I almost said what the city it's in.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, let's not go there. But
yeah, east and northeast all day.
Oh, that would be perfect.
That can change.
But... Oh yeah. Probably change daily between now and opening day. So we'll just have to play it by ear. We got that spot that I want to hunt opening morning, and I think it could be good morning or evening. Again, that's kind of tight to some bedding cover there.
Yeah. And you had the one buck in there. Now, another hypothetical here. All right.
Don't want to at me.
So we go in there because, as you know, I'm coming up Friday night, going to camp out and hunt with y'all this weekend. So say we go in there Saturday morning, and there was a decent 8-pointer. He wasn't a giant, but he was a nice buck. And he walks by at 15 yards first thing open in the morning. You going to shoot him?
He's going to get stuck. Yeah. Yeah, he's probably going to get stuck. I don't know that I would pass. It's a quality buck. That's what I was trying to think of. Not a trophy buck, but a quality buck area. Well, I wouldn't shoot anything legal, but he's nice enough. Yeah, I would. The one you're talking about, I would shoot. He's not a great buck, but he's probably definitely a 3.5-year-old 8-pointer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely stick him if given the opportunity. He's not near as nice as the other one, but I could always still hunt that other one. Might not get to him Saturday evening if I shoot one Saturday morning, but I could be back in there by Sunday evening trying for number 2. But
that's what I was gonna say. If you shoot that one, because there's a real good potential in that spot that morning, you could kill a buck right there.
Yeah.
So, there was a lot of bucks, does in general coming in there, so it's a real high possibility.
Yeah, and for anybody that kind of followed us and maybe checked out some of our social media and stuff, it's where I had a mock scrape out there, and we checked it. I guess when was that?
3 weeks ago now.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks ago, and we checked it twice. I had it out for over a month. We checked it at the end of July, and it was just buck after buck after buck. Just a lot of deer in general, morning and evening during daylight hours. Yeah. And then the second time we checked it, that had slowed down a good bit, but there was still a couple good bucks in there. Unfortunately, there's a really nice old 6-pointer in there that probably will show up, and he is borderline legal because, again, they either have to have 4 points on one side or a 15-inch spread. So,
I just don't know if he'll make that 15.
I know, and if I'd have to see him with my own eyes, but if it's anywhere even remotely borderline, I'm not going to shoot. Obviously, I'm not going to take a chance of shooting one and getting down, and he's 14.5 inches wide.
Right.
So yeah, he'll have to be obvious outside of his ears for me to take a shot at him. But yeah, I'm like you, just from the photos I had, I'm not sure he'd make it. And it's a shame because it's obviously an older deer. You could tell by the body on this thing, the bases and stuff on his antlers. He's
a big deer.
Nice 6-pointer, but I'm not sure he's legal.
Yeah, I mean, if he was showing up down here where I'm at, he would get stuck because it's not quality. You can shoot 6-pointers, especially
right.
A big one like that. I would definitely be interested in shooting. So
yeah, I wouldn't hesitate if it was on an area where I knew it was legal, or it was, there was no question about it. Then I wouldn't take a second thought.
Yeah, so we're gonna do that, and then Saturday, I think we're gonna split up, and you're gonna go hunt that buck in the one area, and then I'm gonna go down where I hunted last year, and where we got pictures of that look like either really nice 9-pointer or really nice 10-pointer.
Yeah.
Right there crossing the creek. So
yeah, that looks like a really good spot to me. And you obviously you've seen a nice buck there last year, early season or opening day. And then, to get some on camera as well. Yeah, I don't blame you at all. I'd be down in there too.
Yes, I know there was that one bachelor group in there too on like the first day we put it out, like the first afternoon, there was that bachelor group of bucks, and then he was by himself. That bigger one was by himself. So we'll see. There's deer in that area, a lot of food in that area, cover, water. I mean, the whole 9 yards right there. So
yeah, that's a good looking spot.
That's probably where I'll be perched up. I'll probably kind of look around a little on the way in, but I'm pretty set on where I want to sit. You know, unless something just really sticks out that's like, I should go here. But I kind of got a general idea based off what I seen last year and what happened. I think I know how to play it a little better. We're going to have the same wind that we had last year. So, as of right now, it's a northeast wind last year, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. And so it should set up pretty good.
Yeah, and we left that camera down in there, so you'll be able to kind of check in on your way in and see.
Yeah, I'm going to check it.
But I guess, the thing you got to watch with those cameras, and I'm guilty of it, like you said, if I go in there that first evening and check the camera and that bucket and on there, I'm going to be like, well, crap, he's gone. But he may be simply crossing, 30 yards down the hill or 30 yards up the hill.
Right.
You don't know that he's gone. He could still very well be using that area, and he's just not crossing in front of the camera. We're not putting out corn or any kind of attractant. We can't. We're simply relying on trails, and in this case, kind of a little pinch point where I've got the camera on that. But even you said that buck you seen last year, the really good buck opening day, he wouldn't have got on camera because the way he crossed on the other side of the creek. But still very well in range, if he walks along that creek edge. So
yeah, I'm not going to set up right where the camera is. I'm going to be in that area, but I'm going to set up a little different. Try to get it where obviously my wind's, in my favor, and then try to keep it where they can't pick me up on the ground anyway, because that's what happened last year. That buck, he cut my ground scent, and it was game over then. So try to prevent that, and then try to set up with the wind and the advantage, for me, and see if we can make it happen. And then Evan, he's got a real nice buck too. I'm assuming he's going to chase that one because he'll be there as well. As far as I know, right?
Yeah. Yep. So, I'm not sure what he has planned opening morning yet. He's still been out doing a good bit of scouting here in the evenings and stuff when he can, moving some cameras around. But yeah, he's got a spot down in there close to where he hunted last year, or one of the spots he hunted last year. And he put a camera on a nice little creek crossing there and got a couple nice bucks on camera. So I think that's his evening spot. Like I said, I'm not sure what he has planned for opening morning, but yeah, hopefully between the three of us, maybe at least one of us can put the smack down on one there opening morning.
Yeah, at least a doe, which I'm just planning on filming you that morning. So it really be up to you and Evan, and if he's hunting that morning, I would assume he is. But
Yeah.
because I know I'm going to camp, and I know you said you were thinking about camping, and I don't know if he will or not. I would assume because he camped last year with you too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be good.
So kind of that's the basis here for the opening weekend. It's what are we 6 days away now? Whew.
Yeah.
But you got any goals set? Past opening weekend for the rest of the season. Kind of what are you looking at there?
Yeah, I mean, of course, I always go into season. You want to shoot a good buck, and for me, a good buck is just if he's 3.5 or older, I'd be tickled to death. And that's not to say later in the season if a good 2.5 don't standing broadside out there. That's not to say he ain't gonna get whacked. But
Right.
I always go into the season, trying to shoot a 3.5-year-old or older buck, and I'm pretty much as far as I foresee. Well, I shouldn't say that. I started to say I'll only be hunting public land, but that may change with the new home purchase here.
That's
Might
right.
get a little bit of private land to hunt, but that'll be the goal as far as buck wise. And then I want to fill my freezer up with the whole pandemic and meat prices as high as they are. I'm not gonna miss the opportunity to put just some deer in the freezer, some does.
Yeah, for sure.
And just as far, I always try to set kind of some different type stuff too. And one will be, and I said this last year and just didn't end up taking the time to do it, but I want to kill a deer out of the kayak. So I want to use my kayak to get out there and hunt and, get a little blood on it, paddle a deer back out of there. And I'd like to, and then I don't know if I'll make this happen or not, but I got that recurve and practicing on and off with that. And I would love to shoot at least a doe with that recurve before the season's over. And again, we'll just have to see how that all plays out. But
right.
Maybe I can make that happen. But and then I always try to get my family out there as much as I can when time permits for them and me. But to get maybe my wife and both my kids, get them out there and see if they can't get a deer as well. So that's kind of my goals. Nothing overly exciting, but it should make for a fun season.
Oh yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I'm using a kayak some this year too, so would like to, like you said, paddle one back with it. That'd be pretty cool. Hopefully, a big set of antlers with it. But
yeah, that'd be all right.
But I think buck wise, I'm looking somewhere around the 120-inch mark. Anything bigger than that, the only thing that is going to differentiate that, I've killed a lot of 8-pointers. I've killed some 9-pointers, killed 7-pointers, but I've never killed a 10-pointer. So if a nice, 115-inch, 3.5-year-old 10-pointer walks in, I'm going to shoot him. So
yeah,
that's going to differentiate that a little bit, but that's the goal there. And then we've got a couple deer at home on my home farm as well. So, that we're trying to take out as well. Some of them are old, at least 5.5 or older, just based off past history that I've had with them. They've lived there for a while. So, and then we have one really big deer there. He's probably, if I had to guess, just from what I've seen picture wise, that we got him, he's probably low to mid 140s.
Nice.
So, he's obviously a target buck, but Dad will be chasing him a lot. Because he lives there full time. So
yeah.
Hopefully he gets him. But, that's kind of where we're at goal wise. And then I do want to, don't know if I call it a goal. I do want to go out of state. And I know we're talking about going to Alabama, in January, February. So that would be cool to do that. And, it's not really a goal, just something we got to make happen. But I guess a goal would be go to Alabama and harvest a deer.
Yeah, have some success there. That'd be nice.
Right. So, but that's pretty much it for me. Goal wise, I'm pretty simple minded. I would like to tag out, on 2 good bucks, and then pick up a bonus buck at one of the rifle hunts, and then I got my quota hunt too in December. So definitely got a lot of tags, that are out there. Just got to make it happen.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, as far as plans, yeah, you mentioned, of course, hopefully we'll get to Alabama for a late season hunt, kind of take advantage of their late rut, and our season will be winding down. So it'd be great to get out there and have a little extended opportunity.
Right.
And I guess other than that, for myself, I just put in for points this year for the quota hunt. I didn't have any points, so I knew I wasn't going to draw anything great. I could have put in for I guess I shouldn't say the area, but I could have put in for some of them where I would have got drawn even with no points, but I'd rather just build up. There's plenty of other places. There's some check-in hunts I want to hit this year.
Right.
And we got a previous guest of ours, Robert Carter, and he's also going to be an upcoming guest on a different topic, but he's extended an invitation to come out. Of course, me and you to come out and hunt with those guys on a WMA. It's a big group of guys, I guess, that get together. Mostly traditional bow hunters, but we'll probably be packing our compounds. But they said they welcome anybody, so we might we'd really like to get out there and hunt with those guys. I think it'd be a really cool opportunity to get to know them a little better and have a ball and watch how some of those guys get it done, because I know Robert's a stone cold killer, man, when it comes to public land deer with that recurve or with his traditional bow.
Yeah, I know what he said. Last year they killed 12, 13 deer, something like that. Maybe more.
Between the group, they had pretty successful hunt. It sounded like everybody had shot opportunities just about, but
right.
So yeah, we'll go in there and screw that percentage up for him. I will
give them two big zeros.
But no, I know that'd be a great time hanging out with those guys. So hopefully we can make that happen. Hopefully if we get over to Alabama, we'll be able to get up with Andrew Maxwell maybe and hunt with him, another guest we had on here, and the co-host of the Southern Outdoorsman.
Yeah, him. We got a couple now. Him, Michael Perry's over there too. We just released the episode with him, so a couple different guys we can try to run into, and maybe they can give us a tip or two along the way.
Yeah. Watch the Masters. I guess that's plan wise. Like I said, might hit a couple check-in hunts around me. Some of the gun hunts just for the heck of it, but
right. I'm gonna do that as well. I'm gonna hit, the one check-in hunt that we hunted last year, and then might try to hit one more, and then get ready for my quota hunt too. But I've pretty much got it. It sounds crazy because that hunt is not till really late in the season, and I pretty much already got the area figured out where I want to hunt.
Yeah,
it's gonna be pretty much where I'm at now. It's gonna be when the pre-rut should be getting hot and heavy. Like it should be rolling by then. Where y'all are at, it will be way done. Maybe a few does here and there coming in extra slate.
Right.
But so I pretty much got my area figured out, and then I'm going to take my happy butt and I'm going to sit in the tree and I'm going to stay there all day long.
There you go.
Because it's a big thicket, big drainage that comes down off these pines, and I know there's going to be deer in there, especially when people start moving around and pushing them. And so I'm going to get there early, and I'm going to get up in a tree and sit there till the sun goes down. And I'll probably do that for all 3 days, really. And unless I kill on the first day, which is the goal, but
I mean, you get people, stirring around, especially. You hit that 9, 10, 11 o'clock, people are getting out of the woods, get deer pushing them around. And then same thing when they come back in the afternoons, So, if you can – I think that's the best thing to do on those check-in hunts. If you got if it's fairly crowded out there, and if you can stand it, just stay up in the stand all day. That way you ain't got to deal with because you leave that spot and go eat lunch or whatever. You may or may not have that spot when you get back, you just never know. And, I don't like walking up on people. I'd rather not have people walk up on me. So I just prefer to stay in there and not have to worry about shuffling spots and all that. And I think that's the way to go if you can do it, if you can stand it.
There's always the possibility of the spot. It's not many guys are going to go to it, if any at all, especially like guys that are wearing climbers. They'll scare every deer out of there before they even get close. That's how thick it is to get down in there. and they'll just make a bunch of noise. So I think, but then again, I've been surprised before. One of the cameras today that I checked is about a good mile walk through a CRP field, back along the river, and actually had pictures of a guy on there.
Yeah.
But I had my camera high and he didn't see it, but he walked right under it. And I was kind of stunned, to be honest. I was like, man, there's somebody all the way back here. But
man,
I guess he's thinking smart, because there's a bunch of deer in there, no big bucks, but there was a lot of deer. So
I think, more and more you're seeing guys, more willing to walk those longer distances and get a little further off the beaten path.
Right.
What I still see a lot, though, people will walk longer distances, but they still like, for the most part, to stay near a road or an access trail. They might walk 2 miles down an access road, but they won't get more than 200 yards from that road. So if you can just kind of break off the trails and get off the beaten path, you can still, most of the time, you can get away from other hunters for the most part.
Well, that's why I was surprised, because there's no road.
Yeah.
To get back here, it's a huge CRP field, and you have to walk through it to get back there.
Yeah.
But they did cut a road, not to this exact spot, maybe, but it looks like they cut it maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and it kind of at the start going down through there, but it's already grown back up chest high.
Yeah.
So it's it's really pointless that they cut it, because they just let it grow back up. But I was surprised, unless he came in off the river, which it didn't look like he did from what I saw in my pictures. It looked like he came from out of that CRP. So you never know. I mean,
no, you don't.
So
no, I don't think there's, most of these WMAs, there's no such thing as, a place where no one else ever goes or has ever been or whatever. As sure as you think you're somewhere where no one's ever been, you'll walk up on a buck bomb or a pea bottle or something, laying there in the woods. But
yep. I guess that was the good thing about the spot I found where I have to use the kayak. I didn't see no human sign at all.
Yeah.
So that was a good sign, the lot of deer sign, but no human sign, no track, no boot prints in the bank. I walked the bank a little bit up and down just to look, and didn't see anything there. No flagging tape, no bottles. So it looks like it's been not hunted much, if at all, really, because like I said, can't get to it unless you got a boat. So
yeah, good deal.
So I guess let's get ready. Maybe wrap this thing up, or you got more?
No, I guess not really. Yeah, I'm pretty much ready. I actually spent a little bit of time this evening. I pulled I got a giant military tote that I keep all my hunting stuff in. I pulled it out of the shed and kind of went through it, made sure I had everything. I try to keep extras of everything in there, keep it in my truck, extra safety harness and lineman's belt, all, hunter's orange for that, whenever you go on a gun hunt or whatever. Just try to keep a little bit of everything in there. But I went through it, got it back in the old Tahoe, and got my hunting clothes out to get them washed and ready, and been shooting the bows. So really it's just I guess I'm ready for opening morning. I took I got that new Summit Goliath this year.
Yeah.
And I took it out here and into the yard to one of my pine trees and put it in there and climbed up just to make sure I had it set up all right as far as the seat height and all that stuff, but mainly just to kind of get my legs for it. I don't know about you, but that first climb of the year is always a little shaky, that first morning getting into it. And so, I went ahead and got that out of the way, made sure everything was working all right. And so, yeah.
You shoot out of it, didn't it?
I didn't. No, I didn't shoot out of it. I should have, but it's not. I'd have to drag my target down there from where I can actually climb up in this tree. But no, I was just mainly wanting to get in the tree and get a climb in with it. It did good. It's definitely a lazy boy, but man, it feels like a lazy boy after you pack it very far. I know it's going to be.
So what you're telling me is, about 30 minutes, 45 minutes before daylight, if I start hearing snoring a couple of trees over,
you might have
to start throwing some rocks over.
Yeah, you might have to throw a pine cone or something. Hit me in the head there.
Some of them mornings, man, you get up there and it's good and dark and quiet, and it's easy to go to sleep.
Yeah, I think some of my best naps have been in either in the deer stand or the turkey woods, man. mid-morning on a turkey hunt, you can get a pretty good nap in too.
Yeah, that's like I'm bringing, obviously a tent, and I'm gonna bring my hammock with me as well. So
yeah,
middle of the day, if we're just hanging at camp, not hunting, or even at night, if we're just sitting around talking, laying that thing, man, I love that thing. Put it between two trees and just get up in it.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be 100 degrees this time. Like, man, last year, me and Evan, we camped opening weekend last year, and it was miserable, man.
Let's see.
Even at night, it was miserable. But
let's see what they're saying.
Hopefully it'll be a little cooler this year.
The temps have went from, it's going to be low 70s at night, so that's not too bad. 71, 70, and then, but middle of the day, they were saying it was going to be like 83 a week ago. Now it's going to be 91.
So. Man, hopefully it'll change before.
Yeah, it probably change. 97.
They've been talking about this big cool down now for like a month. Every time. Next week we're gonna have a big cool down. Well, it still hadn't happened.
Right.
I mean, this morning was pretty nice here.
It was.
It was upper 60s, and the humidity felt a little lower. It felt pretty good. So.
Yeah, it didn't really get hot here today till about 2 o'clock. It was not, like you said, nice this morning. It was kind of cool, breezy. Kind of had that fall feeling, but then by the time I got my truck, it was 95, and I was soaking in sweat, and I was like, there it is.
Yeah, it's back.
But
yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up here. We're going to try to do these kind of throughout the season, just keep them fairly short and just kind of give you guys a little season update, not only with how our season's going, but, we'll look at some of the numbers from the Georgia Game Check, and we can talk a little bit about that, about, how many deer have been killed statewide and on some of the different WMAs, that kind of stuff, just to give you guys some insight, and hopefully you'll enjoy these. And these won't replace our normal Wednesday podcast. We'll still be doing interviews and launching those podcasts each Wednesday. We'll just throw these in there for bonus. And if you don't care anything about hearing about our season, then you can just delete them. You don't have to bother downloading them. But if you do, then you'll be able to keep up with us through those. So hopefully you get something out of them. But
and give us some feedback on this too. Let us know what y'all think, about this video format, or if you'd rather just hear the audio instead. If we get a mass majority that's like, we don't need the video, we'll give you the updates in audio, but give us some feedback, how y'all think these are going.
Yep, absolutely. Always open to constructive criticism.
That's right.
Just keep it nice, guys. Keep it nice. But I guess with that, we'll end. As always, guys, just hunt safe, shoot straight, and most importantly, enjoy your time out there in God's great outdoors, because it's about to be on.